just close your eyes and allow yourself to get comfortable. Make sure that you only listen to this when your attention isn't required elsewhere, when you can just relax completely. And as you listen to the sound of my voice, you don't have to pay attention to the individual words. You don't have to pay attention to any of the sounds around you. You don't have to pay attention to how your body feels. And you don't have to pay attention to any random thoughts that just come and go as you enjoy the sensations of the experience. And as you listen to me, my voice can just go with you on your experience. And the sound of my voice could take the form of the sounds of the wind, or the sounds of animals in the wild. Or perhaps it will take the form of other sounds. My voice will just go with you in a comfortable form. As you just continue through the experience. And as you hear the sound of my voice, you can begin to relax with each out-breath. And as you relax with each out-breath, you can find yourself becoming more and more absorbed in the experience. And the more absorbed in the experience you become, the more you can discover yourself drifting, floating, and relaxing into that experience. And as you relax deeply and comfortably into the experience, certain thoughts can cross your mind. Some thoughts can just drift off. And other thoughts relating to the experience can just become more enjoyable. You can discover yourself in a meadow, looking out over the smooth, grassy meadow, noticing all the leaves of grass just waving, wisping around gently in the wind. Just waving and wisping around gently in the cool breeze on this warm spring day. And as you look closely at the grass, you can just begin to notice how many daisies and dandelions and other little plants like that are mixed in with that grass. And you can just get a sense of sitting down on that grass, almost like sitting on top of the softest bed you could ever imagine. And perhaps while you're sitting down, you'll play with the daisies, or maybe just run your fingers through the grass as you look up at the sky and notice some of those wispy clouds. And you can notice what all this new life is like. All this new life that has sprung up with the spring. And as you look around, you can notice birds flying, interacting. You can see little squirrels in the trees, darting around the trunks, running out onto the grass. And you can notice that in the middle of this meadow is one big oak tree. An oak tree that has stood the test of time. An oak tree that has seen the seasons come and go. An oak tree that has weathered years and years of life. And you can imagine what it's like to just lie back and rest on that grass, looking up at those clouds as they gently cross the sky. Imagining that you're being told a story about how a child and their parents prepare for Easter, and they work so hard to hollow out those eggs whilst leaving the shells intact. And the parent teaches the child specifically how to hollow out those eggs without causing any harm to the shell, just by creating two little holes in the shell. And the child makes a few mistakes at first, breaking a few eggs, but quickly gets the hang of it. And the parent continues to praise the child for how well they're doing. And then after the eggs have been emptied of the insides, the parent and child begin to take their time to paint those eggs with beautiful shapes and colours and designs. And they paint dozens of eggs with beautiful shapes and colours and designs. And the following day, the parent has their friends around and the parent and their friends go out into the garden. And they hide all of those eggs. And then all of the children excitedly spend hours searching for those eggs. And they're all really excited when they find an egg. Yet each egg is hollow. Each egg is just a shell, yet the children are so excited to find those presents. Each child is excited discovering that those presents have nothing inside, yet they're still presents that the child cherishes. And although they appear to have nothing inside, the process of preparing and making those eggs means that the eggs contain something of value that is the present for the child that finds the eggs. And you know, as you look around the meadow, then you can notice a specific squirrel that's running around and just digging things up. And occasionally burying things. That's it. And you can just get a sense of standing up and walking slowly and gently towards a gate at the bottom of the meadow. And as you pass through the gate, you can discover yourself on a path. And as you walk down the path, you can notice how the path begins to go from lush green grass to a golden sand. And then you can reach the gate at the other end of the path and discover yourself on a summer's beach. And I don't know whether you'll be wearing shoes that you take off or whether you'll just walk barefooted across the sand. And the sand can have a certain warmth with each step. And with each warm step, you can enjoy a greater sense of comfort. And as you get nearer and nearer to the shore, to just where the water is lashing gently up onto the shore and rolling in just a little way, you can begin to hear the sound of those waves. And I wonder what else you can hear there. And you can feel the warm sun beating down on you. And I don't know whether it'll be like a comfortable pressure or just a warmth. And I don't know whether you'll just walk along the water's edge, or maybe go in the water up to your knees or your waist, or maybe even go for a little swim. And you can get a sense of what that feels like. That's it. And I wonder whether you'll spend some time on that beach. And I don't know whether you'll take a few moments to take as long as is necessary to comfortably and relaxed enjoying the sun, how the warmth can make aches and pains just appear to vanish. And the interesting thing about this whole experience is that at any time in your waking life, any part of your mind and body can go right back to any of the experiences all by itself, whilst the rest of you can stay in the real world. And it can be a comfortable experience that you can always keep in mind. And as you make your way to another gate, to another path, you can just enjoy knowing that you can come back here again in the future. And each time you come back, you can discover something new. Each time you come back, you can have a pleasant surprise. And as you walk along the footpath through that gate, you can wonder what you're going to discover. And I wonder at what point along that footpath the golden brown sand turns into golden brown leaves of autumn. At what point the sound changes beneath your feet with each footstep as you go from walking on sand to walking on crunchy leaves. As you go through the next gate and find yourself in a woodland area in autumn. And you can enjoy the experience of being aware of the autumn colours, the autumn sounds, the twinkling light as it bursts through from above, bursting through the leaves, the trees, and how you can notice leaves falling from the trees at just the right time. And perhaps you can be curious, wondering how they know when it's the right time to let go. When it's the right time to have grown and then let go from the tree and fall to the ground. In the same way that in the spring there was a point where fruit and other seeds just knew when the right time to let go and fall to the ground was. And in the spring it was so that they could be transported away from the tree to grow all by themselves. And here in the autumn, perhaps you'll walk over and touch a few of the tree trunks. Notice the feeling of the bark. Notice how it's different on different trees. It's different shades, different colours, different textures. Noticing that the sounds here are different. Noticing that the temperature's different, and that you've been able to wrap up warmly. As you walk through the woods, you can notice a gate in the distance, and you can walk all the way to that gate. And you can notice that as you walk all the way to that gate, there are squirrels running around collecting nuts and burying the nuts for later. burying those nuts in little holes, knowing that later on, when the time is right, they can open up those holes and enjoy the contents. And as you walk through the gate, walking on those crunchy leaves, you can notice that it gradually turns into crunchy snow, and you can notice how the sound of each footstep changes as it turns into crunchy snow. And you can walk through the snow towards the gate at the end, and then find yourself on an untouched field of snow. Where you can take the first step, leaving the first footprint in the snow. And you can see where you want to get to. You can see a beautiful log cabin in the distance. And you can notice what direction you want to head. And then you can begin to walk towards that log cabin, leaving a path behind you of footprints freshly trodden into the snow, hearing the cracking sound of each footstep in the snow. You can notice how fresh the air smells whilst you're wrapped up comfortably warm. And there can be the occasional few snowflakes, or maybe the snow will be heavier as it falls. And you can notice how every single snowflake is different. Yet you can think that they look beautiful regardless. And you can arrive at the log cabin and let yourself in. Know that this is a special place for you. A comfortable place. Somewhere that you can go to when you automatically follow this entire journey effortlessly, just by thinking of the beginning of the journey at times that are appropriate. And I wonder whether you'll see the log fire in the huge stone fireplace before you hear it, or whether you'll hear it first. the log fire that just comfortably crackles in the distance. And you can go over to a window and you can place your hand on the window and just notice how the coolness from outside the log cabin can seem to just flow into the hand. You can notice as that hand just seems to take on a comfortable blueness, a comfortable numbness, that your unconscious can learn how easy and effortlessly it can create that numbness. And it can use the most appropriate signals for stimulating that numbness. And it can tell the difference between discomfort that needs to be known about and made aware of, and discomfort that can be made numb without any conscious effort. And your unconscious can always keep in mind to create numbness without any effort at all from any signals of discomfort. That aren't necessary. And you can have a look around for that most comfortable chair. And I wonder what else you can see and hear and feel with each footstep as you look around for that most comfortable chair, and then sit down comfortably into it. As if by sitting down in the chair you drift off into a sort of trancey state, almost like a daydreamy state, where your mind just begins to wander. And your mind can wander and drift. And it can dream about the future. It can get a sense of you when you're much older, much older, having experienced the pleasures of life. And in that dream, you can discover yourself sitting somewhere comfortably, being happy in the knowledge that you've had a wonderful life, that your life has been just the sort of life you've always wanted, that you've always dreamt of, where you've achieved your dreams, where you've enjoyed happiness and success in a way that's made people around you happy and successful, in ways that they've been unaware of at times. Some people could have become successful just from your support and your encouragement and other people maybe became successful because you played a more active role. As your mind just sort of drifts off, and as you lie there, your breathing can begin to change as you relax more deeply into that comfortable sleep. Where you can dream dreams and have thoughts, and know that most of them will be gone by the morning, that the only ones that may be left will be that last dream, maybe the last two dreams just before waking up. And you can sleep soundly and comfortably all night long, drifting and dreaming and sleeping soundly and comfortably all night long. And as the night draws to an end, and as the sun begins to rise on a pleasant spring day, and the birds begin to sing outside the window, you can discover that you happen to be dreaming something pleasant. And I don't know whether that dream will end and you'll have another dream before you wake up, or whether you'll only have that dream. And I don't know whether you'll remember just the one dream, or whether you'll remember the other dream that you had just before waking up, when you wake up. And when you wake up, you can get out of bed and wrap up warm, and all you've got in your mind is that comfortable dream. That pleasant dream. You can get yourself a drink, or maybe be bought a drink. And you can see through the window that it's such a nice day outside, that you go and stand outside, breathing in the fresh spring air of a new spring. Hearing the sounds of the birds and the other wildlife, enjoying the smell of the spring air, feeling the temperature of that early spring morning, noticing the dew on the ground, on the grass, and the different colours of different flowers. And you can just enjoy some time for yourself, looking over at that oak tree in the middle of that meadow. Being aware that once your unconscious mind is ready, and once your unconscious mind feels that it's time to come all the way back to the here and now where my voice is, that you can come all the way back and open your eyes and feel relaxed and refreshed and revitalized.